به همه سلام میکنیم، چه اونایی که تکی ثبت نام کردن، چه اونایی که یه نفر پول داده 10 نفری دارن نگاه میکنن. شب همگیتون خوش باشه. هستیم در خدمت دوست عزیزم تا آنلاین بشن. لطفا تا آخر وبینار بمونید. یکی دو تا نکته جالب و خوب و مفید براتون میخوام بگم بعد از اینکه در حقیقت با ایشون خداحافظی کردیم. یکی دو تا خبر هست و امروز همونجور که میدونید تام شرایتر در حقیقت نقش مارکوپولو رو داره. هر روز هر یک جای دنیا هست. امروز که در خدمتشون هستیم توی کشور ایرلند هستن و از اونجا در حقیقت مهمان ما هستن. خب شروع میکنیم. Tom, as you know, our subject today is about closing. همونجور که میدونید موضوع امروز ما توی وبینار امروز کلوزینگ و بستن و قطعی کردن فروشه. یک مشکلی که ما داریم از اونجایی که عمدتاً در پروسه آموزش ها چیزی به اسم کلوزینگ زیاد در تاریخچه نتورک نبوده، ممکنه با این واژه آشنایی نداشته باشیم و یه مقدار در رابطه با ترجمهش هم دچار مشکل هستیم. ولی میگیم قطعی کردن، بستن. در حقیقت حالا خودشون توضیح میدن که این کلوزینگ چیه. اوکی.
We can talk and talk and talk, but at some moment they are going to have to make a yes or no decision. So our prospects seldom make the yes or no decision voluntarily, so we have to bring it about. We have to force that decision. So closing is when we say some words to say, do you want to buy or not, or do you want to join or not? That is closing. And our companies don't pay us for showing the plan. They don't pay us for talking to people. They only pay us for getting people to say, yes, I want to join, or yes, I want to buy. So here is the problem, and that is that we want to save face when we talk to people. So we say, do you want to join? And they say no, and we feel terrible, humiliated. Or we say, do you want to join? And they don't want to join, and now they feel embarrassed to say no to their friend. So because nobody wants to lose their face or be embarrassed, people just talk and talk, and nobody ever closes. So let me start with one strategy we can use so this doesn't happen to us. We can give them two options. We can use these 9 words to introduce the options. And the words are, so what is going to be easier for you? When we say that, they hear, oh, I'm going to get some choices. And you're not trying to sell or push me. You're asking me what's easier for me. So I will probably pick what's easier for me. And when I pick that choice, there's no more I need to think it over because I made a choice. So after we say the 9 words, so what is going to be easier for you? Choice number 1 that we give them is to keep their life the same. Don't join, don't buy. And choice number 2 is to take our offer and either buy from us or to join with us. Here's how this sounds in real life. So what's going to be easier for you? To continue working at your job where you have no hope for advancement, or join our business where you have a chance to be rich and support your family. And then we wait for them to make their choice. And no one feels pressured. No one feels embarrassed. They just have a chance to make a choice. Now, our choice that we give them is always better than them not taking our choice. So we're going to get a lot of people to say, yes, I want to do this. Let me give you some examples of the 2 choices. To continue commuting 1 hour to work every day back and forth, or to join tonight, so maybe next year you can work out of your home. Choice number 1 would be hope that your boss will give you a 50% raise, or to join my team where you can give yourself your own raise by working hard. Choice number 1 is to try to continue living on 1 paycheck. Choice number 2 is to join the business tonight so you have 2 paychecks every month. If you sold skincare, you would say choice number 1 to continue wrinkling. And choice number 2 is to use our skincare and stop your skin from making more wrinkles. So when we give them a choice, that is closing, and they are going to choose to join with us or not. So that's an example of closing that we all can use and nobody feels embarrassed. So let's talk about the brain science of how the human mind makes up its mind. For centuries, we thought humans made their final decision on information. But about 21 years ago, brain science did MRIs on the human brain. And they found out that our prospects make their final decision usually within the first 10 seconds that we talk to them. They make a yes or no decision to join our business before they even know the name of our business. And they make that decision before we tell them any information about our business. Now, if this seems strange to you, it seemed strange to me also when I first heard it. But if you want to be a top closer in your business, you will have to understand that people make decisions quick. Now, if I were to name my favorite football team and it wasn't your favorite football team, how long would it take you to make a decision that I made a bad choice? If there was a country you liked or a country you didn't like, if I mention that country, instantly you have a feeling if you like that country or not. If you liked lamb and I like chicken, instantly, every time we eat, we make a decision what we like. So you probably saw this at least once in your career. You sit down with a brand new prospect. The prospect leans back and folds her arms and frowns. And we ask ourselves, has the prospect made up their mind already? And the answer is yes. I haven't even started my presentation. The prospect has zero information. So what happens is people make up their mind about you and I very quickly in about 10 seconds. When we start, we think our sales presentation is what makes a difference, but it isn't. Here's what the human mind is looking for. First of all, can I trust you? Can I believe what you say? And is what you're talking to me about interesting? And if it's interesting to me, do I want to do it or not? And all three of those decisions happen probably in the first 10 seconds. So when they say, am I interested or not, here are the choices. If they choose, I'm not interested in this, not in your business or your product, we're done, we're finished. We could continue talking to them, but we would waste two people's time. If they say, yes, I'm interested, they have already made a decision to buy or join before we've really told them what it's about. So if they make a yes decision, then and only then would we show them our sales presentation. So amateurs try to close at the end of the sales presentation, but professionals close before the sales presentation begins. So as professionals, we're going to do these three things to close prospects before we start our presentation. Number one is get them to believe us and trust us. If they don't believe us and trust what we say, we're dead. So to get people to believe us and trust us, here is a couple things we can do. Instead of talking, we should listen. Let them talk about anything they want. People love people who listen to them. The second thing we can do is tell them something that they believe. When they feel that you and them think the same way, they will trust and believe what we say. So, for example, I go to meet somebody and I say, hi. They will say hi back. Then they'll start talking at me because nobody else has ever listened to them. And they will tell me about their problems because the human mind is programmed to do this. They will tell me how much they suffer, how much the world has been unfair with them. They will tell them how difficult it is for them to continue living. Now, I want them to complain because the purpose of business is to solve other people's problems. So they complain, oh, the traffic is so bad when I go to work and come back every day. I waste 1 hour in traffic each way. Or they will complain, things are so expensive now, it's hard to feed the family with all the food prices going up and up. or they will complain that they don't earn enough at their job. Now, I'm going to wait for them to take a breath and a sip of tea, and then I'll talk. When I talk, all I'm going to do is repeat their problem back to them. So I will say things such as, so it really takes a long time to commute, huh? Or I will say, yes, it really is hard to get by on one paycheck now with prices going up. Here's what happens in their head when I do this. Number one, they say, you are a great listener. I love you. Number two, you are a super listener because you even repeated my problems back to me. So at this moment, we have the trust built that we need so we can talk to them. Step number two was we had to be interesting to them. Now, we are super interesting to them now. Let me tell you why. First, we are talking about them, and they are the most important person in the world. And number two, we're talking about their problems. And people are 10 times more interested in their problems than they are about some benefit. So for professionals, the first question is, do you have this problem? That means that the only thing we have to do now is get the yes or no decision if they want to fix the problem. So the second sentence professionals say is, do you want to fix that problem? If the answer is no, we leave them alone. And if the answer is yes, then we can give them a sales presentation, but they have already made up their mind they want what we have to offer. Let me show you how it works in real life. Do you hate commuting to work in traffic every day? Would it be okay if you could work out of your home instead? Yes or no? And at that moment, they have made their decision to do business with us or not. Here's another one. Are you tired of trying to make your budget work with only one paycheck? Would it be okay if you and I went in business together tonight so you can have two paychecks? Or do you think it's impossible to get a 50% raise at your job next year? So would it be okay if we started a business now so you can give yourself a raise anytime you wanted to? So this is just another way to close people, but to do it quickly in the first 10 seconds. Here is another way to close people quickly, especially if they are negative. We are going to remove their fear of us trying to sell them something. So if we sit down with somebody really negative, we can start with these words. Before I show you how my business works, let me tell you what happened to me. Here's what happens inside the prospect's mind. The prospect is thinking, be negative, don't let them sell me anything. But we just told them the sales presentation is going to be later.
ما با این جملمون به طرف گفتیم که پرزنت قراره بعدن انجام بشه.
Because first we're going to tell them a story of what happened to us. And they say, okay, tell me the story first. Now, when we tell a story, it's automatically projected inside of the other person's mind. We're going to tell a story about us, but their mind will change it so the story is really about them. So we will create a story that will help them make a yes or no decision before we even show them how our business works. Here's an example. Before I show you how this works, let me tell you what happened to me. Every month I got a paycheck, but it wasn't quite enough for all the days of the month. So I started looking for a part-time job, but they didn't pay very much money. So I found this part-time business that paid a lot of money, and that's why I joined. Now, at this moment, our prospect has seen themselves in our situation. And they make a decision, yeah, I would like to earn more money in a part-time business. So that is another way of closing people very quickly. Here's another way to close people. We can say the words, most people. Instantly, most people make a decision, I want to be with most people. We feel safer when there's many, many people around us. So if we were to say most people don't want to work at their job all their life, most people are going to say, yeah, Most women don't want wrinkles when they grow older. Most men want to be paid what they are worth. Most families want to have extra money so they can take their family on great holidays. Most people join immediately before their friends join. Most people join, get these products right away. This product package right away. Most people who join want to buy this product package. Most people gets people to make an instant decision, which is what we want. But we can use other words. Let me give you some examples. Everybody knows. So we might say, everybody knows we can't get by on one paycheck. Or everybody knows we don't want to work until we're 70 years old. Or everybody knows wrinkles make us look older than we are. We could also use words like everybody says. And when we use these words, people will naturally make a decision, yes, that must be true. Now, most countries in the world have old wives' tales or old sayings. In Russia, they say, measure 9 times before you cut. In America, they say, a stitch, sew up your clothes on time, or else you have to do 9 times more. They say, fix something quickly, or else you have to fix it 9 times bigger. The Eskimos have dog sleds that pull them around. So they say, if you're not the first dog in front, then all you're going to see is dog butts the rest of your life. So if you tell somebody this is an old saying, they will naturally believe it is true. So I like to say there is an old saying that 2 paychecks are better than 1 paycheck. Or there is an old saying that if you have a job, you're guaranteed to be broke when you retire. And people instantly think that has to be true because it's an old saying. So let's cover another way to close. You can say these words. I have some good news and some bad news. And when you say that, everybody's mind comes to a complete halt. They say, what are the news? So let me give you some examples of how we will get our message in their head by using this phrase. I have some good news and some bad news. And they're going to say, what? What is it? And I'll say, well, first, the good news is that you have a job. But the bad news is it will never pay enough, so you will never have a car or a home. And they think, yeah, I should do something about that. You can say, I have some good news and some bad news. The good news is with our business, you can work out of your home and make all the money you want. But the bad news is your boss and your fellow employees will miss you at work. I have good news and some bad news. The good news is you have a job and a paycheck every month. But the bad news is jobs just guarantee that you'll always be broke all your life. I have some good news and some bad news. Bad news is if you start your own business, you take a big chance because you leave your job. But the good news is you can start our business part-time so you never take a chance. Here is the next way to close. You can say there's 2 types of people in the world. And people instantly think, whoa, I wonder what they are. Which one am I? So now they'll listen to our message. We might say there's 2 types of people in the world. Those that try to get by on 1 paycheck every month, and those that know the secret of getting 2 paychecks every month. Or there's 2 types of people in the world. Those that complain about money, and those that know how to earn all the money they need. And then we just wait for them to talk. And our best prospects will say, how do I get more money? There's 2 types of women in the world. Those that wrinkle a little bit more every night when they go to sleep, and those that use our skincare cream so their skin always stays young. There's 2 types of men in the world. Those that just accept whatever little salary their boss will give them, and those that say, I'm going to start my own business and get paid what I am worth.
من دیدم بچه‌ها تام پرسید اگه یه روش دیگه ای رو بخواید بگم، ولی احساس میکنم که بچه‌ها سوال هم فرستادن. میگم خانم راضیه فامیلیتون نمیدونم اینجا نیست، این که نوشته بودین اگه طرف مشکلش رو نگفت ما چی کار کنیم، گفت خب اون متد اولی که گفتیم مشکل طرف رو بهش برگردونیم جواب نمیده روش.
That is why we have many different ways of closing, so we have a choice. But most people like to bring up their problem. Not everybody, but most.
The question is that all of these methods that you said should be used before the presentation, right?
Except the one that says what is going to be easier for you, you can use that at the end.
Okay. And others said that, Tom, please tell the other method.
Okay. This method is probably the strongest one. And all we have to remember is if the pain is big enough, they will close themselves and want to do it. So we want to make their current problems hurt worse. And we can do that with 4 words in English, which is, are you okay with? So I might say, are you okay with working that job for the rest of your life? Are you okay with not having enough money to send your children to a better school? Are you okay with your boss laughing every time he writes your tiny paycheck? Are you okay with never having enough money to buy a home? Are you okay with not being able to take your family on holiday? Are you okay with your skin wrinkling a little bit more every night when you sleep? Are you okay with trying to get by on one paycheck the rest of your life? Are you okay with staying at home, being depressed and feeling helpless because you have no money? Are you okay with sitting in the crowd and clapping for all of your friends that got promoted and you didn't? So are you okay with just makes it so easy for people to say, oh, that's bad, I need to fix it. So that should be more than enough ways to start closing people so that they make a yes or no decision before we start showing them the presentation.
ما قبل از اینکه در حقیقت تام بره، من حالا بیشتر بهتون برش توضیح میدم. راجع به وبینار بعدی گفتم توضیح بده، چون پایان ساله در حقیقت وبینار بعدی ما موضوع جذابی رو انتخاب کردیم که افراد چرا به هدفهاشون نمیرسن و راه حل کردن این موضوع چیه.
So over the years, they told us to set goals by writing them down or cutting out pictures and paste them on a board somewhere. Or to put them on a piece of paper in our pocket and repeat them every day. And that doesn't work. What a goal really does is kind of give us a direction. And since we know where we're going, we'll be looking for hints or things we could use along our journey. But it doesn't help us get to our journey. It's just something in addition. So there is a system we can use to create the correct activities that are within our comfort zone. And this system guarantees that we'll start having success in our goals instead of being frustrated year after year after year. Now, if you're on this webinar right now and you have 100 people in your downline, I bet 90 of them failed on their goals. So we don't want that to happen again next year. So what we're going to do now is give them this system so maybe 50% or 70% of your people will actually reach their goals. And when our team starts reaching their goals, that's when you have momentum and lots of excitement. And they'll love the activity approach because it's something they can control instead of feeling just helpless. So that's what we'll be covering in the next webinar.
Thank you very much, Tom.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. It was an honor. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye, everyone. Thank you.